Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at another devblog for the next major update, and this time it is the Swiss. The Swiss have finally been announced, not just in the teaser trailer, but in a pre-order. You can pre-order the FFA P-16 pack. This is the first pre-order we've actually seen for this update, and it comes along with a bunch of different goodies that we'll get into. But if you want to pre-order this, make sure to use my partner code so you can get yourself a discount on the pack, also support the channel, and at the same time be able to get my decal in the game. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment so it will take you directly to the pack with the discount already added in. This vehicle is going to be coming in for Germany, and it looks like it's the first arm in what will eventually become the Swiss subtree. So in the pack, you can get access to the FFA P-16 strike aircraft. This is going to be a rank 6 premium for Germany, so you can get yourself pretty much the whole tech tree research with this thing. Then you'll also get a premium account for 15 days, 2,000 Golden Eagles, and they're also throwing in some pre-order bonuses. So you have a title, which is the Slashing Pike title, and then also the Swiss Guard decal, which actually looks really, really nice. They also note that since it's a pre-order, this will be available with the release of the next major update. So if you purchase it now, then obviously you won't get access to it right away. You'll get access to it when the update comes out. What I would do is I would wait to have a look at the dev server and see what it looks like. I'll make sure to do a video or two on it, just to kind of keep you informed, and then we can kind of go from there. So, that's pretty much it for the P-16. Let's have a look at the rest of its factors, including its history. In 1948, the Swiss Air Force announced a competition to develop a jet fighter capable of performing ground attack missions and taking off from unpaved airfields. Two Swiss companies took part in the competition. You have EFW, with a project for a 4-engine tailless aircraft, and then FFA, with the more conservative P-16 project. The P-16 was a single-seat, low-wing monoplane with a short wing and a British Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire turbojet engine. For takeoff from unprepared terrain, the aircraft was equipped with twin landing gear wheels and a brake parachute. The first prototype, the P-16-01, took to the air in the 25th of April 1955, and the second prototype exceeded the speed of sound the following year. By 1958, 4 prototypes had been built, 2 of which had a more powerful version of the engine and showed acceptable flight characteristics. In March of 58, the Swiss government, inspired by the test results, ordered 100 P-16 aircraft. However, the third prototype soon crashed due to problems with the hydraulic system. The production order was then cancelled. FFA made the necessary adjustments to the design and built 2 more prototypes on its own initiative, but the Swiss Air Force no longer showed interest in them. In the end, the Air Force purchased British Hawker Hunters. So one of the cool things about the P-16 is this was actually created by War Thunder players through the revenue share program. Nova, or Nova 29R, made the aircraft model. If you don't know who Nova is, he's made a bunch of different vehicles in the game over the years, so he's very much well known when it comes to the modeling community. But also, the cockpit was made by another player, Reg25RUS. So this is basically completely created by independent people through the War Thunder revenue share program, and it kind of shows you what you can do if you put your mind to it. If you actually want to see a vehicle in the game, you can literally make it and they will add it. It's kind of crazy to think about, and they'll even pay you for the pleasure of it. Now, when it comes to the P-16, what we're finding here is a strike aircraft with access to a lot of ordnance. This vehicle not only goes fast, but also has access to a bunch of weird oddities. To start off with, the vehicle has access to the HS-825 30mm cannons. Now, if you don't know what these cannons are, these are the same ones that are on the Sagittario II and the Ariete for the Italians. And if you've used those cannons, you know that they're very high velocity, very high fire rate, and extremely damaging. The other thing you might also know is they don't have a lot of AP, so these ones are definitely more designed for air-to-air, unless they give them different belts compared to their Italian counterparts. The vehicle has 240 rounds of ammunition for them. That's fine. That will be enough to be able to take on anything that you want to. And then also it has access to 4 hardpoints, which will sit on the vehicle. You can bring 2,000 pounds worth of bombs, or up to, I should say, 2,000 pounds of bombs, and then also napalm bombs as well. So this thing will be able to carry ordnance into the battlefield. The more interesting thing about it will be if it can get access to CCIP or CCRP. This vehicle being developed pretty early on, I'm not sure if it would have access to it. But one of the other cool things is it can carry a bunch of rockets too. The 48 R-80 Sura rockets or 44 SNEB rockets, which you'll know around the place. For air-to-air combat capabilities, this thing also doesn't lack. On top of the 30mm cannons, it also has 2 AIM-9B Sidewinders. So this thing is definitely not lacking in terms of its general performance. The ordnance it can carry will be very good, and it will be able to multi-role pretty effectively, just like a lot of other strike aircraft that we have in the tech trees nowadays. You know, the Su-25s, the Harriers, the A-10s, stuff such as even the A-7D, if you really want to kind of drag it out, the idea. But the Jaguars are also another set of vehicles which are very good at the multi-role setup. This P-16 will be no different, depending on what BR it ends up being. Now, that's one of the things that we won't know until it actually gets added in the tech tree itself. But since it's a rank 6, it should be one of those vehicles which is pretty high in terms of its BR, and that's probably because of all of its ordnance options that it has on it. One of the problems with being rank 6, though, that this vehicle will have is it will have to take off from the ground. So one of the things with a lot of strike aircraft that you can do is you can actually start off in the air, and it makes it a little bit easier to get up to speed. You know, if you've ever played the F-84s, or if you've ever played specifically the F-84F for the Americans, you know how useful that air spawn is. Since this vehicle is rank 6, it's going to have to take off from the ground. But it should be pretty light, it should be able to accelerate pretty quick with its engine, so I wouldn't worry too much. It's just if you depend on putting a metric ton of ordnance on it, it's going to have a bit of a problem in that setup. But I think overall, as a start to the Swiss tech tree, you know, it isn't really too surprising to see this type of vehicle in. One of the problems I have, though, is the fact that it's a premium. When I look at Germany, one of the areas that really needs help is its early jets, and also its kind of like late tier stuff at the moment, but mainly its early jets. If you played the 262s recently, or if you played the 163s, they're really not in a great place. So adding more vehicles in the form of Switzerland or any other nation to try and bolster that area sounds like a really, really good idea. But instead, we're just dealing with premiums right now, and also squadron vehicles that don't really fit that area, instead are a little bit higher BR, where the Germans are completely fine, between that kind of 8-7 and 10-7, 11-3 area. So my feeling is this vehicle is really nice to see. It's going to be able to fill out its role incredibly well. The only problem is that it doesn't fix any of the issues that Germany has from its aviation point of view. Now, does that mean in the future this, you know, won't be fixed by different Swiss vehicles? Of course it will be fixed eventually, but at the moment this doesn't do it. And that just kind of sucks. So as a first foray into the Swiss stuff, obviously alongside the Hunter, it is cool to see. And another part is we might get a standard tech tree version of this one, since they did mention in the history section that there was technically 2 different types with 2 separate types of engines. But does it really do too much apart from add more Swiss stuff in the game? Not really, but maybe that's something that we'll have to tackle later on. Maybe the fixing of the early tier jets for Germany is something that has to be focused on. Not right now, but maybe in a year or so, when more of the Swiss stuff starts coming in. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.